Weed is currently making waves globally in health and recreational industries. Joining me to help unpack this boom is Silas Howarth, Cannabis Expo Director of Sales. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're a very smart man at Cannabis Expo. Tell us exactly what's going to happen there.
Well, I mean, there's been cannabis expos around the world for many years now, from America through to Germany, right through to Australia. And it was just a matter of time. South Africa's been waiting for it, and finally we're bringing Cannabis Expo to South Africa.
Yeah. What are we going to see happen at the venue? Tell us about the exhibitors, what they can and can't do.
So there's a whole host of exhibitors at the show. We're pretty much sold out, which is amazing considering we only started selling exhibitor stands maybe 4 weeks ago. So pretty much one of the fastest selling exhibitions in the country, but or probably on the continent. But there's everything from the growers, from the agricultural side, to the health side, to vapes. It's a multifaceted show.
I mean, the legal line here is very fine when it comes to South Africa, especially since the Constitutional Court recently ruled that you can grow it in your backyard,
Sure.
You can smoke it at home, but you can't sell it. So
Sure.
How is that going to work with this expo?
So I think there's so much uncertainty. I mean, so many people in this country aren't quite sure exactly, where they stand from a legal standpoint. And I think that's part of the reason that an expo like this is necessary, where we've got industry experts from across the cannabis industry, from the legislation side, through to people helping you actually get permits to grow cannabis. So we've got growers there. We've got people who you're allowed to grow cannabis for personal use in a private space.
Yeah.
So now there's so many companies out there that are able to engage with the public, showing them how to best grow your cannabis. We've got guys from growing tunnels to LED lights, hydroponic lights, through to fertilizers and the best soils. I mean, they're all at the show and all represented there, right through to the medicinal side, where we've got the medicinal health practitioners at the show. So there's so many different facets to the cannabis industry, and I think that's where this is just sort of a melting pot of the industry as a whole, where people can come and engage with it, people who are interested in cannabis, interested in getting into cannabis business, or people who are already in the cannabis business and want to expand that. That's what the expo is about.
How do you get into a cannabis industry if you're not only allowed to grow it in your backyard and smoke it at home? I mean, for medicinal uses, I'm getting.
So actually, you are allowed to grow in South Africa with under strict controls. And there's an exhibitor at the show that helps people get through those regulatory hurdles and actually educates people and businesses and professionals on how to actually get a license to grow cannabis or import or produce products derived from cannabis. So really, really fascinating. If you're interested in getting into it, you've got to get to the show.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, though, because you say that there's lighting, soil conditions, and the different types as well. What's the interest been like from the public with regards to this expo?
It's been amazing. We've only just launched the campaign. The billboard campaign's gone out. The marketing campaign's just started. I mean, the expo is in a month's time. It's from the 13th to the 16th of December. So in Mainland and at Times Square. It's a beautiful venue. But our phones have been ringing off the hook. There's so many people asking so many questions.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show we're a nation of people who evidently like cannabis, are interested in cannabis, but don't necessarily quite understand all the ins and outs. And all we're advising them to do is come to the show. There's a convention stage as well, so there'll be speakers every half an hour from industry experts from across the industry, international and local, speaking on different topics specifically around cannabis, everything from growing to the legislation side to the medicinal side.
And very quickly, what do you say to people who would say to you you're promoting weed heads, so-called weed heads, who in South Africa who are not going to function properly on a daily basis?
Sure. There's so much more to the Cannabis Expo than smoking marijuana to get high. That's one part. The recreational side is certainly one part of the cannabis industry, but the Cannabis Expo as a whole cannabis is big business.
Yeah.
And this is an expo that showcases that.
All right,
from
thank
one
you so
side
much.
to the other.
Thanks so much for your time and your
Thanks.
insight. I appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Probably might see you there.